starting another episode of the Elegant Hour. We've got the old boy back in here today. He's going to fucking talk a bit of shit and carry on like he normally does. Anyways, his name's Jimmy McGrath. He's from Pandula, born and bred, and yeah, he's here to talk a bit of shit.
Yeah, I've been in the surf club most of my life, and we talk about surf clubs and maybe a bit about ghosts and other things. But
we're on here.
Bloody talk about ghosts. There must be one in here now. I've had heaps of episodes in the surf club, but one of the later ones was I was starting a ski race at Bateman's Bay, and there was a
What's
big.
this? You better let the people know what a ski is, though.
So a ski is
Surf ski.
a surf ski. It well, you can have double skis, but these are all single skis.
And you get on them and you row the bastards.
And you've got to go out there round three buoys and come back in. But there's a big sea running, and I was swimming up to the second break where we were starting. I had in my hand, I had a whistle, a lunch, and I also, and so I get out there and get them all lined up and just ready to start, and all of a sudden a wave comes and washes me back in. So I swim out there with my lunch and my whistle and get out there on the second break.
What'd you have your lunch in?
In a plastic bag.
What, just in your mouth?
No, I swung one-handed out, and I get out there again and arse over it again, back into the beach, swim back out. And the third time I get out there, Prousey says, if he doesn't start us this time, we'll go without him. When
You got tumbled in how many? 3 times?
3 times. Yeah, and if he gets washed in again, Prousey said we'll start without him.
Just leave the prick behind.
Yeah. Pandula Surf Club went down there to start Malakuta Surf Club off, or get it restarted again. And we going down there with Mr. Davies, and we drive along, and we come to a little bridge before the cemetery, not much room, and just come off the bridge, and there's 2 cars overtaking one another, and I go out as far as I could. It must have been taking the first coat of paint off in the car on the other side, but we both had a look at many other times there, and how we got past we still don't know. Another time we went down there for a meeting, and we there, and we had a couple of beers. I was driving, so I only had I had 2 beers there, and then bought we bought a 6-pack to come home with, and get out there on the Princess Highway and driving up there and get nearly to before the chip mill turn, heading north, and there's a car. This is about 10 o'clock, maybe 11 o'clock at night.
What year was this?
Probably not 1990s or 1987 or 88.
Or were they a bit less strict on the drink driving back then?
Well, it was 11 o'clock. It was a Monday night at 11 o'clock, and chances of a policeman being about wouldn't what's the name anyway.
So we're not saying you were under the influence, but
I wasn't under the influence when I got in the car, and I wasn't under the influence when I got pulled up because it frightened the shit out of me. I said, Frank, I said, what the friggin' hell's that car doing parked right up there on that rise with its headlights on? It was on the side road on the left, and it went past it, and this car come down, and it was a four-wheel drive, and I looked in the mirror, he come down at a warp speed, and when he hit the road and started to turn onto the road, he nearly turned it over, and then we go about a quarter of a mile further, and blue light comes on, so I said, for Christ's sake, hide this can of drink for him. So he pulls up behind me, and I get out, and the copper that was driving, he doesn't get out, but the other bloke on the other side gets out, and I looked down at my chest and where my heart is, and there's a red dot on there, and I thought, fuck, what's the man done to deserve this?
what, just for drinking a stubby while you're driving?
And I'm just waiting and that kind of thing, and he didn't move his gun, and I did move a bit, but no matter where I moved, the dot stayed right on the middle of my heart, so I thought, well, I don't really wish to die here. And then a voice from the passenger, the driver's side, is that you, Jim? And I said, oh, yeah, it's me. So he didn't, he still had the red dot on his heart, and another 2 minutes, it probably was only 30 seconds, but it seemed like about 7 minutes, and he lowered the dot there, and then we talked.
Well, so they had you pulled up, gun blaze, ready to blast you away.
Well, he's got the door open, and he's using with the door open, he's using the inside of the door for a lean for his rifle, and it's yeah. And it was all because they had protesters at the chip mill turn, got eggs thrown at them. So I'm glad I didn't murder anyone or that kind of thing, or otherwise I'd have been in deep shit.
But what they
and then all of a sudden the car goes past there, and they left us alone, and we drove off, and everything was good.
Were they?
Yeah.
So for chucking a few eggs at somebody, you can get blasted away, you reckon?
Oh, I think so. Absolutely. Yeah.
What rifle were they pointing?
I don't know. I don't want to know.
Or you didn't get a close enough look?
Well, it was bloody dark. Yeah.
What did you? That 6-pack would have gotten finished off real quick after that, eh?
Yeah.
Real quick.
I can tell you now, when we left them and that kind of thing, it didn't take long to down about 2 more drinks on the way there at warp speed either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's on the way down to Malakuta with Davies.
Yeah.
You guys would have mucked up a fair bit in the surf club in your time.
I would imagine we locked a few places up. We locked the golf. Went down there for a surf carnival down there to see be officials, and we had to be at Narooma at 8 o'clock for a meeting. So
what is it, if you're going down there as an official, because there'll be people that don't know what's going on there for a surf club carnival, what's that? Just
you've got to stand there in the water, knee deep in water, and start races off and do the flag races where they on the sand, they lay down and turn themselves there, and if you've got people like Mr. Kelly there that could break every rules, you've got to make sure that they don't break any rules, and you got to write down who finishes and all that kind of thing.
What was Mr. Kelly? Pretty sneaky.
He was. He would find a way to do things, and then once he got caught out, he never ever done that again. But he'd find another way.
Oh, we've got to mention too, this is the first episode that we've filmed. So we're actually live on air with the camera pointing at us.
Yeah.
We're wearing our nicest shirt lifter gear. Shout out to Shirt Lifter for the nice attire, keeping us fresh. We had a big win on the pokies last night in said attire down at the crab pot. That was pretty good.
One of the bravest things I think I ever seen in my life was Frank Davies and Greg Shaw. There was a kid washed off Middle Beach. Evan, can you remember his name?
No, I went to, I can't remember old mate's name. That was pretty sad though.
Was
he was out surfing, wasn't he?
Him and his mates were surfing, and this huge southerly buster come through. It was already a big sea, but then this southerly comes through, and they Frank Davies and Greg Shaw launched the duck, and they went round past Marimbula Point and come round. And
where's Middle Beach is off Marimbula, isn't it?
There's you got Short Point Beach, and then you got Middle Beach, and then you got Long Point, and then you come round to the wharf. But across there's a reef that comes off Long Point, and the seas start to stand up fairly big. They went round there and they were searching.
What sort of sea was running? How big?
It was fairly big. There's probably 15 foot, and by the time they turned round to head back, it was 30 feet and a 30 feet, and it didn't look like they were coming back.
They launched the boat. Where were they at? They launched the boat.
They launched the boat in Marimbula.
And went out across the bar.
Went across the bar, which
was
Marimbula bar wasn't too bad because
sheltered on that side.
Slightly sheltered, and then they go around there and they search for an hour and they couldn't find the poor little boat.
Was that in the surf rubber ducky?
Yeah, rubber duck or IRB inshore rescue craft, which is only about 12 foot long.
Yeah, a little inflatable. What engine have they got swinging off the back of that?
25 horsepower.
Ringing off its neck.
Yeah. And anyway, I can tell you now that they were lucky to come back, and probably I've seen lots of brave things done, but I've never seen anything as brave as that.
What were they out there? How long were they out searching for, old mate?
I think they were out there for nearly 2 hours when they called it off.
Who called it? Somebody from the beach, or did they call it from out there?
Police called it off.
Yeah, were they in communication through radio?
Yeah. They were radio, walkie-talkies. And,
So they had, they were out on the boat, they had a bit of comms, pos comms.
It was bloody awful. And then I think that might have been on a Saturday. On Sunday they done a body search. The sea had gone down, and then I done 4 days body searching there, mainly because their mother and brothers and sisters were on the little beach there, and just hoping to Christ that we'd find his body, but it never showed up. And that was probably one as saddest thing as you'll ever see, I can tell you.
Yeah, that's pretty rough on the whole family.
Because
he was only, was he even 18 yet?
No, he was only about 16 or 15 or something. He wasn't very old.
Yeah, I didn't think.
But it was a really sad day.
Because there was a few of them out surfing, wasn't there? And he was the only one that didn't make it back.
Yep. He got to the rocks, put his hand up, and then he lost his grip. And never seen again. I was seen out in the first break, but never seen again. He would, with the way it was running and that kind of thing, he would have ended up probably in North Queensland by the time the crabs had eaten him and all that kind of thing. But
not really how you want to go out, I don't reckon.
Yeah, it was.
I suppose you don't really want to go out anyway, do you?
No.
Having too much fun on this little
with,
slice of paradise.
With Mr. Davies and me, I got out of the car in Bateman's Bay once, and he said, "Which one are you, Jim or Frank?" I've had a beard most of my life, and Frank was clean shaven and everything else, and he's a lot smaller than me. But which one are you, Jim or Frank? And that always got to me. That and
who said that to you?
Oh, some lady from Bateman's Bay, and I had it happen about four times in my life. That which one are you? Isn't
Frank about a foot shorter than you?
Yeah, he's fairly short. Yeah. Anyway, and we call and often called the twins. So everything.
You've been up to no good in the surf club for many years, though. Carrying on a treat from what I've seen.
Well,
I'm going away to surf club carnivals with you to, once I was legally allowed to drink, drink and piss with you mongrels.
When I went to, we went up to we had to go, from Narooma, camped at Mr. Frost's place. We went up and done the first carnival and come back.
Where's his joint?
At Narooma.
Yeah.
And then we had to go back to, not Mollybook, this side of Bateman Bay. Anyway, he said, we'll have a few drinks and go to bed early. So we went to bed about 3 o'clock in the morning.
So it's quite night.
Looked at the watch. Looked at the clock. It was 7:30. We were supposed to be sitting on the beach up at 8 o'clock. Got Frank out of bed. Away we went. Absolutely shitting myself that I'd get pulled up and breathalyzed on the way up. The most careful driving I've probably ever done in my life. Yeah.
2 hands on the wheel.
Yeah.
Were you using your thumb? Have you used the technique where you use your thumbs to keep you inside the lines? You point them up and then you drive along.
Oh,
I don't know much about drink driving, but I've heard that is one way to attack it. When the eyes aren't working too good.
Another time in Bateman's Bay, we were having a conversation, going up there and said, "Oh well, Frank, we'll go up there. We'll set the radio gear up and that kind of thing, and go uptown and have a cup of coffee and come back and see what's going on, and then we'll have a counter lunch and come back and watch the end of the carnival, and we'll go home."
By counter lunch, you mean you do a heap of studies in you?
And
I better shut your phone up. You keep carrying on.
Then we get up there, get the radio gear out, and we've set that up, and then Tony Redkey comes up and does, anyone know how to run a carnival? And Frank said, "Who wants to know?" He said, "We've got no one here to run it." So we run the whole carnival, and everything went clockwork. You normally have at least five officials running it, but we got it over and done with, and everything was good. And so that's how surf club time can be any time, and run a carnival. You think everything's going to go to plan, but nothing does.
So all it sounds like is you and Frank Davies just go on piss drinking missions around the countryside.
Well, we do a bit of work as well.
It sounds like you've done fuck all work. All you said is some suspicious driving behaviour, and you guys getting absolutely blackout.
No, well, the sleep, when you lack of sleep does that.
Oh.
But we've always
Not the dirty.
At these meetings with Mr. Frost and that kind of thing, we've solved all the problems of the world, from popes to politicians to why the people above us there have got no idea about running surf clubs. So everything gets sorted out on these kind of meetings.
Really, like touching base on all the big topics.
Yeah. But anyway, another time, before Rubber Ducks, we had Gary Strayfield was a stroke, and we had the Australians at Tathra, and we out there the first it was 3 days, 2 day carnival. Must have been 2 day carnival.
How much piss was drunk at that?
The first day.
It's getting a bit blurry, the memory.
The first day they come out and they brought some food and that kind of thing. And the second day they had this little bloke at the front there. He was the official. So on the second day, they gave him lunch and everything. He brought that out and some water. And we'd been on the water since 8 o'clock, and we had no water, and they sent a case of beer out. And
for the dehydration.
Apparently for dehydration.
They sent full strength out or mid strength?
I don't think there was such thing as mid strength in them days.
Is that only a recent thing, you reckon?
Anyway, Gary Strayfield was the sweep, probably the best sweep I've ever come across.
What does the sweep do?
He gets stands in the back of the surf boat and he...
the surf boat's the rowboat, isn't it?
Rowboat.
What's that? Rowboat's 4 man plus a sweep, so 4 rowers plus the sweep at the back who steers the boat.
And we had a little boat that would have been 4 stone, maybe 5 stone ringing wet on the front of it. And he was, I wouldn't say that he was an old codger because he looked old. And so we, 2 cases of beer, no food, no water. And I
reckon there's a meat pie in every stubby, isn't there?
Yeah, well, I only had about 3 because I knew the sea was getting up a bit. But while we were there, we see Mike Wyndon, John, all the old Olympic swimmers that done really well. John.
How many stubbies did everybody else have if you only had 3? You had 2 cases.
Gary Strayfield was, I've never seen him, I've seen him piss, but I've never seen him so pissed in all my life. I thought, fucking hell, this poor...
what, out on the boat?
On the boat.
Maggot.
Yeah,
Why are you rowing still?
Yeah, well, we were doing duty, so we just had to stay in the one spot, row backwards and keep in the one spot there. And by dark, it was just on dark.
How come you were sitting out there in the rowboat doing that?
Because we didn't have any rubber ducks. Rubber ducks hadn't been invented, or the surf club hadn't got them.
Oh, so this
is going back eons ago.
Back in the dark ages?
In the dark ages.
You still have candles?
No, at home we'd got the electricity on a couple of years before.
What was that in your 20s?
You know, in the 70s.
No, in your 20s.
Yeah.
Not in the raw. Not back in 1920 when you were 20, you prick.
Yeah.
I know you fucking born.
Anyway,
So you were 20 at this stage?
Probably a little bit old, probably 23 or 24.
Yeah.
And Gough Whitlam at the stage was in power. And it was time to come in. It was just on dark. We had about a 6 foot wave, but it was a reason, what's the name? We have a sweep. And sweep that can hardly stand up. And we got this little bloke with the front there that if he goes in, no life jackets or anything on him, if he goes in, I thought, well, he's going to be lucky to survive. So we, I think.
How many hours have you been out there sucking back pigs?
Well, been out there from 8 o'clock till about after 6:30 or whatever, because it would have been.
So 8 a.m. till 6 p.m.
Yeah.
What's up? That's a 10-hour day.
Yeah. And as I said, no food to eat and that kind of thing. And we.
What stubbies would they have sent out? What were you drinking back then?
There would have been bottles, not stubbies. No, what's the name? Carlton had stubbies out there, so they would have been bottled beer, I would think.
Yeah, but all the same shit.
And
but what type? What flavour? What Carlton or?
It could have been Dirty Annie, DA or whatever.
What's Dirty Annie?
Dinner ale.
Dinner ale.
Yeah. No, I've never seen it for 20 odd years, and thank Christ I haven't.
What was that? A headache in a bottle?
Yeah.
No good.
Yeah. Then we, Gary gets up there and he nearly falls out of the boat. He said, "Take it away," and I'm doing strokes, so I'm the so we take it away, and I see this. 6 foot wave coming behind us and that kind of thing, and then all of a sudden we go down it, sideways, crossways, every other way you can, and then he straightened up and brought it perfectly on the beach. But that's not the end of the story.
But with the surf boats, with the rowboats and stuff, that you surf the waves in, don't you?
Yeah, we did, and he ended up bringing it in perfectly, and there was it was just on dark, but there was enough to show you a silhouette. And Gough Whitlam had walked away from the party, and
was he watching you?
He was the Prime Minister. He was there so it had to be 74 or 73.
He was. Where was this at? Pendula or where? Tarfa.
And
the Prime Minister was
and
there.
he walked up on the sand hills to have a smoke, and he's up there in a perfect silhouette. You could see him and that kind of thing. Anyone could have said, "Who's that standing there?" And we're there. We were about 150 metres off him, and then all of a sudden, which I'd never seen, a four-wheel motorbike come down, which we'd never seen there before. And all of a sudden, about 15 people come out of the bush and absolutely surrounded him and that kind of thing. And there's no way he could have been knocked off like Donald Trump. They tried to on Sunday. I've never seen. We were standing and looking up there and that kind of thing, and I've never seen blokes move so fast.
Was that like the Secret Service blokes around him?
I would imagine that I don't.
Or whatever the Aussie version is.
Yeah, whatever. But give him full. What's the name?
Was it? So you reckon it was his security squad, though?
Yeah, his security squad, which we probably and even now probably don't know what we had, but.
How's Trumpy getting shot at? And did you see him afterwards? He putting the big arm going. Afterwards, he was revved up.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You can't keep a good man down.
Yeah, but anyway, that's there's.
So you didn't get to go say good day to Whitlam.
No, he was 150. They took him back and put him inside the surf club. We didn't get to see much of that.
Well, no wonder. He watched you drunkards out there smash 2 cases of piss and then come back in.
But it wasn't us riding the 4-wheeler heading for him.
Well, you don't reckon that was part of his security game?
It certainly wasn't.
No, well, they were just shit fanging up the beach.
Yeah. Anyway, that's one of the good parts of being in the surf club.
What, shit fanging up the beach?
No, seeing
or getting maggot out on the boat.
Yeah, or seeing Gough Whitlam up there on that silhouette of him and that kind of thing. I tell you what,
I did a fair few years at the surf club and I never seen Gough Whitlam rock up.
No, but, he was gone in 75. In November 75.
But you're making it out like anybody could have seen him.
Yeah, well, it could have been if you'd have been there.
Yeah, well, there was no invite.
Heck of deal. So,
why'd they hide him away in the club? Why didn't he would have wanted to bro down with the boys, wouldn't he?
Yeah, well, one thing about Gough Whitlam, he always carried a biro and a notebook, and someone would come up to him and say something and that kind of thing. I'll just write it down, and he never wrote one thing in that notebook. They reckon, even though he did get the pencil out and look like he was writing it down. Yeah. But he was a magnificent looking man, I can tell you. Oh, his silhouette showed a magnificent looking man, I can tell you that.
You're pretty fond of the blokes.
Yeah. Just for a matter of interest.
Good looking bloke, you reckon?
Gough Whitlam, what happened there? His wife died, and then he married a woman from Bermagui, and he was over in Singapore.
He jumps around, doesn't he?
Birmingham,
South Coast,
he's over in Singapore, and he went outside and having a smoke. You get jailed if you put the cigarette butt or whatever on the ground over there. But there, it was just on dark, when the girl of the night walked past and said, "Would you like a
lovely
girl?"
lady.
Like a girl. And he said, "No, I'm married." He said, and he said, "How much?" And she said, $80. 80 Australian dollars.
That would have been pretty steep back
She must have been high class. He said, "How much?" He said, "That's too dear. How much would you pay?" And he said, "I'd pay $20." And she said, "You won't get much for $20. And way things went, and about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, they'd gone out for tea, and they were walking back there, and this girl looked at Margaret and said, shook her head and said, "I told you wouldn't get much for $20. So there you go.
What's saying that to his wife?
Yeah.
Where'd you get all the Gough Whitlam facts?
Well, he probably done more good for the country for a long time, and then he buggered it. But he got unmarried mothers' pensions, and Medicare. So if you
Medicare's pretty good.
where if you get crook and that kind of thing in Australia, you're covered. Not like America, you've got to sell a kidney to get out of it. He'd done lots and lots of good, but he brought the dole in that was easy to bring in. So there's a lot of people from that era got the doll when they were 16 or 18 or whatever. They left school and they've been on the dole ever since. And that was the only sad fact about it. But he had plenty of.
But you're pretty much like a dole budger these days because you're retired.
Yeah.
So you're living off all our hard-earned, tax-paying dollars.
Yeah, I'd say so. But
so you're stinking bludger now.
Yeah, apparently. That's the way it goes. But he done a lot of, really got a lot of good. We've had good prime ministers and we've had bad prime ministers in my time. And he, at the stage there, till he, Jim Cairns and that kind of thing started.
Who's Jim Cairns?
He was his deputy prime minister, I think. But
did he have to deputise him, like in the old westerns?
I don't think so.
Is that how they run it?
Yeah.
You get a six-shooter and a badge.
Yeah, it was interesting to see. It's an interesting time in politics. And after he got in, but it happened all over the world, people were people working on the council and that kind of thing were on £20 a week, and they could pay off a car, pay off a house, and have a holiday, and their wife didn't have to work. After that, all over the world, the Western world, nearly everyone had to have two people working to be able to survive. But it was a worldwide thing. It wasn't Goff's thing.
Yeah, but the women should be out there working too, don't you reckon?
I've got no idea. I'm not going to commit on that.
You're going to sit on the fence on this one?
Yeah, sit on the fence.
No, you can speak your mind. Put them to work.
Yeah.
Now, if I have to go to work, they should have to go out and do a bit of backbreaking over too.
Yeah.
It's only fair.
Yeah, it is. Oh, another time in the surf club, a couple of them said, will you take us out on the surf boat? And I looked at the sea and down the end where we were standing in front of the, what's the name, they were huge. They were at least 20.
Were they huge or huge? Because when it's proper big A, it's huge.
Yeah.
That is huge there, lad.
They were 20, they were about 10 to 15 feet. And I said, if you take the boat down there, half a K down there, I said, I think we can get out there. So we go down there, I walked down there and they got the boat on the sand and that kind of thing, and didn't look too bad. And we're there and we're sitting in no man's land, waiting to go.
What, you got the boat out the back already?
No, got the boat in between the first and the second break and just hold them there. And hold, and I said hold, and I thought,
I remember you taking me out in the boat and scaring the absolute fuck out of me when I was a young tacker. Yeah. Going out in the surf in the IRB, the Ducky.
They could always tell how big the waves were with how big my eyes were. And I looked and waited and waited.
Seen your eyes pretty big going late at night.
And I said, take it away. And they took it away, and all of a sudden this huge monster stood up.
Huge.
The surf boat's 26 foot long, 26 feet long, and the bottom, the boat was at the bottom, and the wave was another 2 or 3 feet above it there as we come backwards arse over head with the boat out.
What, you got flipped?
Yeah, but flipped backwards. And
so as you're going up the wave, she starts breaking, it makes you do a somersault.
It hit the front of the boat, and I could see another 2 foot of water at least there, so 26 is.
What were you going up the face of it?
Yeah,
or was it
they were going up. We were going up the face of
Yeah.
it. They were pretty good crew, and then
Was this
they
in the
come back. They all they got thrown out, and I'm still in the boat, and the boat goes flop.
What? So that was in the surf boat, not the rubber ducky.
Yeah, surf boat.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. So you're rowing your little hearts out.
they were around there. What's the name? I'm flogging them to death.
Did they give you a whip when you were at the back of the boat?
We should have done that day. And then I get trapped under the boat because we landed back on the sandbar, and there wasn't what's the name, so I'm there, and then I come out. All of a sudden, a big wave came and lifted the boat up, so I swam out from underneath it, and then I had to look up and I count there's 4 there, and a mistake I made. You're supposed to identify yourself when you come up and say I'm right, but I counted 4 heads, so they were right. And
identify your gender.
And my oars going down south at an alarming rate, so I get in with the current, and I go down there, and I go there about 300 metres, and I get me a sweep oar, and then I'm walking back to the boat, and I thought, what are they looking for there now? But they were looking for me. And mistake number 1: if you come out of the boat, you've got to tell them where you are.
Who do you just yell at to the rest of the crew?
Yeah.
Were they all still in the boat?
No, they got thrown out. They would have been, the bloke in bow, he would have been thrown 20 foot behind us.
Well,
they launch out of there when you get a wave like that. The bloke at the pointy end of the boat, it just slings them like a slingshot.
Just getting shot out.
Yeah. Take that, you pricks.
But so when you're going out in that, what do you tell them, like, as you're cruising out, because you're just rowing?
But you get into what they call no man's land, which...
Yeah, but like at the start, so you're going, you got waves coming at you, especially if you're in big surf.
Yeah.
Do you tell them to ease up on the rowing and speed up to try and time the waves?
Yep.
To try and time it, or are you just gunning at it?
No, you wait, you go over, there's normally in a sea like that, there's normally a 6 foot or a 7 foot sea before the next sandbar when it's big like that, and you wait there, and you get in the boat and wait there, and then you get over those 6 foot waves with a bit of luck, and then you stay what you call no man's land, where you can stay there and just wait for the waves to get small or get a run. Sometimes you'll get 40 seconds or 50 seconds before the next wave, and if you pick it, and as soon as that just before that big wave crashes, if you take it away, then you can get through it and not do any damage much.
Yeah. But when you're going up the waves, are you just saying, as you're going up the face of them, are you still rowing as you're going up there? Or
no, they're still rolling.
So you're just powering through it?
Yeah. They've given it everything they've got. You can see, if you can take your eyes off the wave, the oars are bending at least 6 or 7 inches.
They're really digging in.
Yeah.
The boys aren't holding back.
No, they're not holding back. Yeah.
What you took me out in the rubber ducky when I was a young fella. Why do you think that was such a good idea to scare the fuck out of a young fella so much?
But you've got to be a man sooner or later.
But today, when we were all down at the beach swimming, you were whinging about the cold and carrying on like a little girl. So what's going on about the manly shit there?
That's all I know.
I thought you used to have a bit of kick in you. Got nothing to say, so you just sip your beer. Probably rum.
Yeah.
Yeah. All you've done is complain since you got up here about the cold. And it's fucking freezing down back home.
I'm not back home, am I?
Yeah, but you've been whinging about the cold, but you've been getting around in shorts and a t-shirt every day.
Yeah. Yeah, but I noticed you found it was a 2-dog night the other night.
Yeah, that's alright. I haven't been whinging. I just said it was a bit cold the other night, and I had the dogs in bed with me, and I hadn't seen the dogs in a week, so they wanted to hang out. I've got Doris here today. She's hanging out. Hey, Doris.
She had a nice little swim. Not much of a swimmer, are you, Doris?
No, we had a swim down the beach. Had to let the dogs play. Let the dogs. Jimmy reckons they need to start shooting all these bloody roos around the joint. I don't know how he's going to go with the animal rights people, but he reckons there's too many of them.
Absolutely.
Stop. You want to blast them in town though?
Yeah, right in front of that person's house.
Yeah. I don't know how street legal that's going to be.
Well, if they can shoot Trump's ear off, surely the Christ you can shoot a kangaroo and get away with it. Or two.
Well, bring the roo shooters in from out west and let them go. Them real rough blokes in town.
Did you see that old man kangaroo, as poor as piss? He's on his last legs. Needs shooting to put him out of his misery.
What, you reckon we should do the same to you?
Yeah. Wouldn't worry.
Yeah. You might be on your last legs, I'll just blast you on the way out.
Yeah.
I'll have to get a bigger gun though. Oh, fuck, man.
No, pretty right for that kind of thing.
Yeah. You don't reckon you're after that? You were just saying how good bloody Gough Whitlam was looking before that. So, he was a magnificent looking man.
He was.
Yeah, I reckon you might have started swinging the other way.
Have a look at Bob Menzies, Gough Whitlam, then John Gorton.
What did he do?
He was a Liberal Prime Minister. He was a pretty good Prime Minister too. He was a...
what do you reckon about the current order of affairs with the politicians?
Fucking... you wouldn't feed them, I can tell you. There's only about 3 on both sides. There's
don't even reckon they're worth a meal.
There's Jacinta Price, Barnaby Joyce, and a couple more.
Barnaby's out there smoking darts and breaking hearts.
I think there's a couple of Labor people that have got a bit of balls, but they fucking hopeless. A lot of them. Yeah.
Do you more save your political talk to your family events after you've had a few stubbies?
Yeah.
Is that your favourite time to hear politics out of people?
Yeah,
that's my favourite time to hear political views is out of drunk uncles and aunties at family events.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Or just in general, if anybody.
You know, the country's going down the gurgler and they fucking about. You know, don't want nuclear energy.
I reckon it's you baby boomers that have fucked it though. That's what the younger generation's saying. The baby boomers have fucked this country.
Most of them have gone back to work. They've spent the kids in their inheritance and had to go back to work.
What have you been doing?
Spend your fella's inheritance.
Yeah, wouldn't be hard.
Yeah.
You got the habits to fucking deal with it.
Yeah. We
are one, but we are many.
Hey. Well, hey, and what a shit of a national anthem we got, for Christ's sake.
What do you reckon? We should change it to Yotha Yindi?
I don't care.
Good.
I don't care, but get rid of the bastard we've got.
What do you want?
It's got to be better than that.
Well, Advanced Australia Fair, that's what we're running, isn't it?
Yeah. Girth by Sir CEO, for Christ's sake.
You got a bit of girth on you though, eh?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, why don't you start running for a bit of local politics and work your way up?
No, to be a good politician, you've got to be able to think on your feet, and you've got to be you mightn't be an accountant, but you've got to be able to have a good head for figures and that kind of thing, because you can't go there and say, oh, we'll promise you a new surf club or a CWA room or we'll or an oval or whatever. You've got to you can't do it. You've got to be able to think whether it's good for the country, whether it'll help your party get back in, and whether the money's worth it. So, and you've got to do all that in about less than 10 or 15 seconds when some reporter gets you by the short and curlies and asks you those questions.
So you don't reckon you'd be able to think on your feet and you shit house with numbers? Is that why you never made heaps of money in your life?
Well, people, just imagine on council, they'll say, oh yeah, we want this or whatever. They've updated the airport in Marimula and that kind of thing.
It is nice though.
They
got that fence around it.
Yeah, they want to put...
they don't see any roos out there.
No, because they put a roo shooter on it every morning and night. They put a bloke drives along the airstrip and
he's got free range just to blast them.
Yep.
How do you get onto that job?
I don't know.
I'd put in for it. Well, why don't you? You've got an extreme hatred for roos, is what I've found out in the last few hours.
Not as much as I've got for wombats. I hate wombats with a passion.
So you don't like anything that native creatures. What are you a fan of foxes then?
Right, foxes and rabbits. I hate them.
Yeah. It's a very strong word, hate.
Yeah.
But you hate these native animals and you hate these invasive animals.
Yeah. You fellas have got no idea what damage wombats do to the environment.
Haven't they been here longer than you've been here though?
Yeah, but have you ever seen the bloody mess they make when they get into a creek bed and dig hollows there, and then you get a bloody gully buster and it comes down there.
What's a gully buster?
2 inches in of rain, or 100 mil of rain, 50 mil of rain in less than an hour. So,
who called them? Have you always called them gully busters? That's a funny name.
Well, everyone knows they gully busters.
Well, that's the first I'm hearing about it.
Well, you know, you're not very observant.
Sheltered life, you reckon?
Very sheltered life.
Haven't been getting out and about. Doris, can you chill out? The old gully busters.
Yeah.
Gut busting gully busters.
What else?
There's fucking probably not too much help. You could probably waffle on for days though.
I could.
Rip enough of them fucking Bundy cans into you and that Jameson you got there, you probably won't stop, can't stop.
Yeah. Well, as I said, surf club been part of my life since I've been 15. And
how'd you come to get into that? Seems like what was it, a dairy farm or cattle farm you were out on?
Dairy farm.
Dairy farm. So you're out in Bald Hills there?
No, Loch Hill.
Loch Hill. Fucking.
Do you know what rooted the dairy industry?
What?
The Pommies. All of a sudden, they joined whatever, Common Market or whatever. They used to buy all our butter and all the Commonwealth and that kind of thing. We used to There was no tariff on English cars if they come to Australia, or all that kind of stuff. And then they joined the common market and that kind of thing, and didn't take our butter. You could make a living. Farmers could raise a family and that kind of thing with 50 head of milking cows, and with pigs and that kind of thing.
Would you milk the pigs too?
I wouldn't think so, but they.
Would you milk the bulls? Have you tried bull milk?
And
it's strong.
The best part about it is that like the pigs, they only took the cream for the butter factories. There was
the pigs took the cream for the butter factory.
No.
Were the pigs working for the company? Were the pigs workers on the farm?
The butter factory.
You fucking spit it out, mate.
Pangula had 133 suppliers, and every one of those farms up till the England and that kind of thing, buying the British Empire, they were buying from us, and we were buying from them and that kind of thing. Everything worked good.
So you want the Poms to buy our butter again?
Well, I don't like the fucking Chinese.
What's wrong with the Chinese?
They use prison labour and all that kind of thing to produce a lot of their stuff.
Yeah, but the Chinese people, they wouldn't be bad people. The actual
Chinese people out here do no harm whatsoever. But
you don't like the Chinese government, is what you're getting at.
Well, no one likes a communist, what's the name, government. But anyway, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
Your problem.
So the Chinese people are right, their government's fucked.
Well, Chinamen never done, when they come out here in the gold rush and that kind of thing, they sent money back to China and all that kind of thing. A lot of them stayed. They become very good market gardeners and that kind of thing. Up in Darwin, there's a lot of Chinese up there, and what's the name? And they've assimilated and they married Australians, whether they're black, white, or brindle, and they're very good toilers and very good workers, and probably better Australians than most of us.
Yeah.
They really are good people. But the poor bastards over there, unless you're up there in the high society and that kind of thing, you haven't got much chance whatsoever.
Yeah, righto. That'll just about do us for today. But, sorry, thanks for coming down.
Not a problem.
Right?
Yeah. And remember, shirt lift your shirts.
Yeah.